Hey guys, it's Sky again, and it's another piloting video for all you pilots out there. And this is a game of Walker Assault, where I joined kinda late. We're playing Twilight on Hoth, and I'm piloting the TIE Interceptor against a couple A-Wings. And these guys are definitely not new pilots. They were both at the top of the scoreboard, and here I killed the top player. And the TIE Interceptor's a ship that you don't really see me pilot that often, and it has a lot of disadvantages. It's the least maneuverable ship in the game. I think the A-Wing is a little more maneuverable, and it's really slow. You'd think that it would match up against the A-Wing and give it some sort of speed advantage, but that's not the case. It's really slow, so you're pretty much at a disadvantage against both the A-Wing and the X-Wing. And dogfighting on Twilight on Hoth is a really unique experience because you got the snowstorm blinding you, and it can be kind of tough to keep track of your enemy. But it's only fair because your enemy will have just as hard of a time keeping track of you. And I'm making this video because I'm going to talk about something that I haven't talked about before, but it's really important, and that's throttle manipulation. And this skill is very important in the TIE Interceptor and the A-Wing because they don't turn that well. And a lot of people are under the misconception that in a turning battle you should just throttle down and keep it down the whole time, but that's absolutely not true. Throttling down does make you turn a little faster, but you're going really slow. You're basically a sitting duck. And if someone locks in on you, you're pretty much dead. And if the enemy knows where you are, then it makes it even easier for them to find you because you're not going anywhere. The opposite is also true. Just staying full throttle the whole time also limits your ability to maneuver. And it also makes your positioning a lot more predictable. Something I see a lot of people doing, especially in the A-Wing, is just jam the throttle and just loop in one direction all day. And you've seen it in my previous videos. It's really easy to keep track of someone doing that. So I'll roll the tape back to that last dogfight, and you see here, you see the lock-on indicator, and that gives you an idea of where your enemy is. A lot of times I'll use the defensive maneuver just to break the lock-on, and it might buy you just enough time to get out of the line of fire and not take any damage. But I'll roll that last clip back and slow it down. You'll see I throttle down to change directions and then immediately throttle back up. And this is really important to do. It makes your maneuvers a lot less predictable because you can fine-tune the direction you want to go. And I'm using the mini-map and kind of my sixth sense as to where my opponent is to try to turn toward them, get right in their grill, and then I'll throttle up to basically change my elevation. You know, it's kind of like a rolling scissors, constantly switching directions, going above them, below them. And right after he gets a few shots off on me, I switch to a vertical loop. And this is where I pretty much reverse the dogfight. I'll turn toward him and then throttle up. Quickly change my elevation, look down, and he's a step behind. And I get the advantage immediately. And at this point, there's really nothing you can do because I'm going to control the distance. I'm going to maneuver just outside of his loop and keep him in my sights. At this point, he's really close. He's closed the distance. If I try to follow his loop exactly, he's going to turn out of view. But I've maneuvered just outside of his loop, created a little bit of distance, and remember, it's about closing distance and creating distance. You gotta be able to do that. So I finished out this round by getting into some strafing runs during the third phase, and this is really cool. I actually ended up strafing on the enemy hero character, and after I figured out where he was, I was able to just come back, get the kill on Han Solo, and surprise, top player killed. And it was actually the first A-Wing pilot that I killed when I spawned in. And a lot of the haters will say that if you're sitting in a fighter all game, you're not really supporting your team, and I can agree with that to an extent. Obviously you can't get in on there and directly affect the ground objectives, but you can provide supporting fire, and especially in Walker Assault, damaging or defending the AT-AT is an objective. And I really think the scoring system should be amended a little bit to accommodate for this. And you saw earlier, you can be pretty accurate on those strafing runs if you really know what you're doing. So in Supremacy, you can really attack those control points. And plus, you know, it's fun, and it's a video game. Thanks guys, I'll catch you later.